in the vast expanse, during an evil time, and an even more evil place, there dwells creatures and beings that are so evil and diabolical, they most of the time can't even stand themselves. And under the tutelage of one who is so detestable, the Lord of Destruction himself, who guides them under the tutelage of none other than Skeletor. And he welcomes another henchman who has been here before, but is now reinvented under the banner of Masterverse, Wave 11, New Eternia, Trapjaw, looking amazing, and it is he who we will be reviewing today.
Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting Masterverse Wave 11 New Eternia review. And today we are taking a look at, that's right, Trapjaw. And this is the Trapjaw I believe we all wanted, especially this head sculpt in this new packaging, looking amazing. You have that really cool bookend artwork. Just check out that face. I mean, that is Trapjaw if there's ever been a Trapjaw. I believe this is what we've always wanted here. Looks like we have options even with the head, which looks really cool. You have, again, the artwork on the front this time. New Eternia Trapjaw, which definitely looks inspired by classic designs, like they say. You have vehicles, the castle, other enemies fighting in the background. Just really cool as this wraps around. And then you have that digital render of him on the back. The planet in the background. Wars going on behind him. Little write-up of the story there. If you want to pause and read that, you can. The other selling points, we've gone over all of these, but our Skeletech, which we'll get him eventually, just not really that interested in him, to be honest. But you have in these squares an idea of the accessories that he comes with, shown off there. So let's go ahead and break open this new Masterverse Trapjaw. There's the barcode on the bottom, and let's go check out this New Eternia Trapjaw. And here we are in Snake Mountain itself, ready to take a look at this diabolical henchman of Skeletor, none other than New Eternia Trapjaw, and he is looking so awesome. Let's first take a look at his accessories. First of all, Trapjaw comes with a attachment that allows him to have what appears to be a metal style clamping jaw with a movable jaw. And we'll take a look at this a little bit more later, but you see it does have a hook, so you can hook it onto his belt. Speaking of hooks, he has this really cool mechanical metal looking hook, which even looks like it has a gear attached to it, which is cool. And it also has a hook to attach to his belt. And then last but not least, as far as attachments, he has his trusty gun with scope, which I have attached to his arm. And then also he comes with a short sword or a dagger or some kind of knife blade, which is really neat and detailed. Has a chip in the blade there, has almost like a bone style handle, looking cool. And that's also able to be equipped on his back, and we'll be looking at that in just a moment. And then of course there's his head, and we'll look at a special feature about that jaw in just a moment as well. But that covers his accessories, other than the fact that you can remove that belt. That belt is strapped on, and just take a look at the details of that belt. It almost has like some wear to it, almost like there's some shimmering, some kind of metal that's nicked and peering through the green paint just really cool detail there. Impressed with the detail they've displayed with this figure, looking really cool. I was checking to see if the light, no, that is paint that's in the grills there of that gun, so there's even detail on that gun. That is really cool as well. So neat. So now let's do something that's going to be a very cool treat with this character, because we have some differences. Let's look at our Trap Jaw's articulation. All right, and here is our Trap Jaw, bringing him on here a little closer. Just take a look at how cool he looks. Just look at the details and the elaborate work they put into this mechanical arm on this side. I mean, I believe this is probably one of the best we have ever received as far as just the arm work. I believe this even beats classics, which is saying a lot, to be honest with you. But let's go ahead and look at this head sculpt. He's going to be able to look up a pretty decent amount there. He's going to look up. He's going to be able to look down all the way, which is really cool. He doesn't really get a whole lot of head pivot, just a really itsy bitsy amount, but he will definitely be able to look side to side. And then here's another articulation that we come to expect with Trap Jaw. That's right, we have an articulated mouth with some of the torn fibers and guts, or whatever you want to say, of that torn jaw up inside of there. So that does move. Now that brings me to another feature that I'll go ahead and cover right now, and that is that you can remove this purple fuchsia style jaw by just popping it out of the holes there, and you can take Trap Jaw's clamping type attachment, which we looked at just a moment ago, and you can unhook that part of it, and then you can hook that part right onto Trap Jaw's mouth. And then you have, if you would rather have a metal jaw, you can have that as well. Just take a look at that. Isn't that dynamic? Isn't that cool? That is a really nice touch. Didn't expect that, but that is really neat. I will get him, man. I will get him. I will bite his hand off. Ha 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 ha. Just point me in the right direction. Really, really cool there. Really nice. I mean, it fits. It works good. The only difference is these side hinge parts kind of stick out further than the purple one, but that's okay. It's just a different look and another option, and options are always a plus when it comes to an action figure. Regardless of whether you use it or not, or whether you like it or not, you get the option. And I like both of them, to be honest with you. You have a really nice quality hook, so if you did actually want to run a string through there and do the whole, sliding type zip tie type thing, you could do that. And it would hold up, because that is not a flimsy hoop around or loop around his head. It's really, really well done. You can see that the silver goes all the way back to the back. It's looking really cool. You can see here where he has that place, or you can put this short sword. I'll go ahead and show you that while we're back here. So you can just go ahead and slide that right all the way down into there. And you can see also where this unstraps, because on this you have that new Eternia style belt underneath. Of course, you've got the loincloth as well, so that's really neat that you have those options. But there you have a really neat option there. Also, I've always liked his skull and crossbone green belt. He's going to be able to go full circle on those arms. He goes out not quite 90 degrees. For some reason, I think it's because of or this circle piece, mechanical piece that's up here. It stops about right there, but he does have bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows that get good range, and you have several colors that are going on this arm as well, which is neat, which is different. The two-toneness there of that. You have kind of like a gunmetal gray here that bleeds into a darker gray, into almost a metallic black look here. And guess what? This is on a ball joint, so it gives you like a butterfly joint. Just take a look at that. A butterfly joint, which will go up, which will go down, which go back and forward. Pretty good amount. So that is really cool. So this will also go all the way around, and you can't quite get, you're not going to be able to get 90 degrees, of course, with that, but you're going to be able to go some. You're going to be able to go out some. That's about as far as it's going to go right there. But you can definitely point it up that way. You can even get it over his head there, so that's pretty neat. So he's got some options there that are really cool. And as I was showing you before, you also have the attachment of this gun here. And just take a look. You can turn that way, and you can also swivel this because this is on a ball joint. See there? So this is going to be able to go full range, like all the way down, a little better than 90 degrees there, and even out to the side and even out to the front, so that he can do like that deal where he's holding the barrel like we saw on the back of the box, which if I get this arm right, he would do it better. But you get the point there. And then all you have to do to change these out is just snap off that. Let's go ahead and hook on the hook. Attach the hook, and that one pops right in, and they're very easy to get in and out. No problems. So that looks cool. Check him out. And then also you can pop that out and put in the other one like so. So you have the clamping mechanism. Chung chung. Cool. Really neat. All right, moving on to the diaphragm. He's going to be able to crunch forward a really good amount there. Just take a look at that. You see how closed in those abs get. He's crunching really good. He's going to be able to bend back a pretty decent amount as well. Really good ability to bend back. He also has that smooth tripod turn at the diaphragm that we've been seeing, and also he's going to be able to get some side to side. So he's got the whole hula hoop ability there, and everything's real tight. Plus he has the turn at the waist also, and so he has plenty of articulation in the upper body. Moving on to the legs, he's going to be able to get full splits, of course. There he also has a thigh cut right up here underneath the loincloth, as you see. The only thing I don't like about that, it's hard to tell in this lighting, but there's definitely a deeper blue here, and then this looks like a black that was painted over with the blue, and it doesn't completely match. It's harder to tell in the camera, but you can tell it in person quite a bit. You see the metallic type pads that are over his thighs there, but he also has the drop down method, so you can see that. I'll see if I can show you better this way. If you watch, it pulls down and goes back up, pulls down on both sides. You can go way up there, then you can come down. And so you have that drop down method that they've been giving us in the last two waves. So that's really cool. It allows for some other options, but he will kick up a good amount there. He also has double jointed knees, which are very tight, but you get it there. Turn it around so you can see it better. And then, of course, as he already is doing, he has full tiptoes with that boot shoe, and then he'll go up just about all the way, and has excellent rockers with the peg hole in the bottom. So he has some very dynamic and well laid out and thought out articulation that really gives this guy probably the best articulation we've seen in the Masterverse line so far in an action figure, and Trapjaw is certainly worthy of receiving that. So bravo, Mattel, looking awesome. But now it is time for us to do some comparisons. And the first comparison that we will do is with our Masterverse New Eternia trap jaw alongside of Mattel's Club Grayskull's Filmation style trap jaw. And he was so cool. Looks like he stepped right out of the Filmation cartoon. Very limited, and I mean very limited articulation, especially with this arm. It can only really swivel up and down. He does have a posable jaw, which the head sculpt is perfect for the Filmation look. Definitely inspired by all trap jaws in general, except he has a black inner mouth, whereas we've been getting, more of a gross looking red inner mouth on a lot of the others. But he came with a couple of other attachments, but we're not going to spend a lot of time on him. We see the 3 attachments that our Masterverse trap jaw came with, but let's look at classics. This is the one that you would really need to compare it to. You could also put Snap-on Kronos, which is who Trapjaw was before he got injured in the face and jaw and arm and became Trapjaw. He was Kronos. So Classics version came with that head. You got the claw style attachment and the hook here, but just look at the upgrade. I mean, both in the arm and in the attachments. Now, he had a pretty cool arm, but definitely the articulation here beats out, and even the design. Look at the sides. I mean, this one's cool. I always love the metallic blue trim on the Classics, and of course it's hard to beat that Classics head sculpt, even with the inner mouth. Just look how gross looking. It's almost like gum and muscles and fibers in there. Just, oh man, just about gross you out, but it's cool with that one. Whereas this one, not quite as detailed. It's a little too bright. I may go in there and paint it a little bit more of a glossy blood red, just to give it a little bit more realism, and maybe a black wash, so that we can compete with the Classics a little bit more. But I really love this head sculpt. I think that this head sculpt is awesome, but you see the eyes, how they're kind of blared out, almost like the skeleton style, like there was no eyelids or nothing for the sockets. You have a little bit more of a fleshed out eye, deep features here with this trap jaw, which I like it. And I think the overall look, I do kind of like the darker blue on this trap jaw for some reason, but that's a preference. I like, the blue here as well. It's just a little bright. Even this blue is a little bit more convincing, and you see the wash in his biceps here. But again, we have like almost the robotic arm over here on the left side and the right side, as well as on the Classics. The belt is very similar. You have, again, some of those metal, bleed throughs on that green belt, just like we mentioned over here. But this one actually is more detailed in a lot of ways, so that's cool. Both have the furry loincloth. This one is much longer on our Masterverse figures, but that's because they're just lankier and longer figures in general. If we were to measure these in, your Trapjaw here, Masterverse Trapjaw, is going to be just a hair taller, but really in this scenario, not much taller, because this was a tall Classics figure to begin with. But the main thing is looking at how these guys just look overall, and we'll turn it to the side here just to give you a little bit more of a perspective on the arm work. Really cool arm, and this was the best up to this point. To me, I think Masterverse actually outdid, especially with articulation, but even design here. I like this arm. And go ahead and look at the back here. As again, we have the upgrade of being able to place his short sword or dagger in that holder on his back, which, again, you have more detail on that part on the back, which looks really good. And you have a lot of detail in the gear works on the attachment that wraps around his body for this dude. But still, I mean, I like the fact they went the extra mile and made it where you could store a weapon back there as well as on the belt. You see we have the loops on this belt as well as loops on this belt. These come out to the side more of like a vertical way, whereas these are more horizontal type hooks. And I really think these actually serve better to get them out of the way, so that you could actually have them hooked to his body without them being so cumbersome and in the way. When you hook these attachments to his belt, they kind of dangle and fall off easy and get in the way of his arms. So I think that the design of this Masterverse new Eternia Trapjaw actually, in this scenario, outdoes the Classics in my opinion. Now the Classics is still a solid figure and looks awesome, but I don't know, I have to give the win this particular time to the Masterverse for sure. Not just in articulation, but even in design, in my opinion. So there you have it, folks. We have that comparison with the Classics. And now to look at our first Masterverse Revelation version of Trapjaw compared to our Masterverse New Eternia Trapjaw. As you see here, if it's not obvious, it is to me, and I will definitely confess, I felt like that this figure needed to be redone desperately. Not that I dislike this Trapjaw, but you know, just didn't even come close to Classics. Just the colors, the huge kneecap pad things here. The belt was a very cheap, just plain flat. And then the head sculpt that came with it was just embarrassing. Looks like his tongue is sticking out. Just looks too goofy and ridiculous, to be honest with you, in my humble opinion. I didn't like the green. I didn't like the color blue. Didn't really like the way they did the attachments. They're very difficult to peg on with a tiny little stick on the end of his arm. The arm is not very well articulated. And I actually have a Hordak MX head sculpt on here, which I thought he did a better job. Even has the movable jaw here, and you know, a little scarier, a little bit more serious, the teeth and everything. So I have a custom head attached to him because I couldn't stand this head personally. But I went ahead and attached the metal jaw on here. So you see this guy, no, even though it does look like a giant metal jaw on the bottom, if you like that style, you can't be undone here, because he, even though it's not purple or pinkish, you still have a metal giant jaw that you can attach if you like this look better. But definitely the arm is better on this one. The clothing and trim work and accessories are better. They did downsize the pads over the knees quite a bit here, which I, appreciate. I mean, he's always had big knee pads, but this was just a little over the top, in my opinion. So, just to look at these guys again, we'll look at the side profile here just to give you a better vision of what we're dealing with here. But yes, definitely wins out over here with the new Masterverse New Eternia Trapjaw. So awesome. Looking really good again here. And then even, on the back, again, just kind of plain here. Added some flair for sure on this one. So yes, definitely liking the Masterverse. Like I said, the only thing I would have changed personally is the color blue that they chose for this Trapjaw, but I can live with it and it looks good in my opinion. So bravo Mattel, great work on improving everything that needed to be improved, and even going above and beyond, giving us better accessories, better attachment, better articulation, even upgrading things that we've not had on Trapjaw before. So I like it. And here are the original, I would say, 3 that we saw the most, especially at the beginning of the Filmation cartoon back in the 80s, and that's Skeletor, Trapjaw, and Beastman. You saw them, I would say, probably the most, maybe alongside with Merman, but I think that these are just looking great together. There is our Trapjaw with the new Eternia Beastman, and he is definitely a beast. You can check out my review on him. This actually is the original Revelation Skeletor with a Hordak MX head sculpt, open mouth version, and then I also have the Crystal Ball axe with him that came with Plundar. But I like that accessory with this Skeletor and this head sculpt. But this is pretty much my favorite, I would say, Masterverse Skeletor, unless I go with the one that was the 40th anniversary that came with the 2-pack. He's probably my all-time favorite just because of the posable jaw. But I really like this look, especially alongside of this trap jaw. And then here is our trap jaw alongside new Eternia Skeletor and new Eternia Merman, and they look awesome together. You can just see how these just pair up so well together. Really enjoying just pairing these up with different styles. I mean, some of you do like and prefer this Skeletor, so I wanted to show you him as far as that new Eternia look. Not really the Viking or, you know, variant of this, but there's the, you know, Skeletor head. And so there we have some new Eternia figures side by side, looking good. Really liking this trap jaw. I think this is my definitive trap jaw for me, so it's looking good. And here is our trap jaw next to new Eternia Clawful, who is an awesome figure, and our new Eternia Whiplash with his new Eternia garb on, and they both look awesome next to this new Eternia trap jaw. And there is the 40th anniversary Skeletor, who I really love with the metal weapons and the posable jaw. He just has a classic look, in my opinion, the larger buck, the larger chest and abs. So I really think this is my favorite Skeletor in some respects. But then again, you know, it's hard to decide. I mean, this is during the Skelebration, so I mean, you know, whichever Skeletor you prefer, we have all kinds. And getting ready to here shortly after we do Slush Head, probably review. I did get a hold of the New Adventures Skeletor, and also the like Hordak Skeletor, the Horde Skeletor that came out in the previous wave. So just in honor of Skelebration, pick which one you like the best and let me know. All right. And then finally, here is our trap jaw next to Spikor, as well as our, I guess you'd say, humanoid version of Panther, and then also our Marvel Legends comic book version of Drax. You say, well, why do you want to pair him with Trapjaw? Well, because of the belt. Look at the belt. These guys have some things in common. I think the color scheme, green and purple, and the belts. They have similar taste in belts. So I'm pairing our Drax with Skeletor and the gang as one of my figures in my Masterverse or MOTU universe. So there we have it. Those are cool. And that's gonna do it for this review. Thank you so much for joining this Super Dave review. We've enjoyed looking at Trapjaw Wave 11. We've got more Masterverse figures coming down the pike, like Mechanic and others that are gonna be out soon, hopefully, and we're looking forward to just seeing this line continue to expand. It's just been awesome. I mean, you're talking about a deep and proud line already, and I am loving them. And I think that they are just rounding out to be a superior and excellent line of action figures, the Masterverse line. So please come back and see us again. Like if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe if you've not done so, comment if you have something to say or share, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Be blessed and enjoy these photos in the photo gallery.